As a broker, are you offering the marketing that your agents really need? I spoke with Ben Bacal. He is the founder of Revel Real Estate, and he's built his brokerage on offering agents autonomy in their branding and their marketing through tech. And he had some really interesting insights into how AI is going to transform the industry and some of the interesting ways that he's offered to agents and collaborators to help them build their business. So enjoy the podcast. So Ben, welcome to the RealTrending podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to just jump right into it. So Ben, tell me a little bit about your business and what you're involved in right now, about your brokerage.
Um, okay.
How many agents, where your offices are?
Yes, of course. Currently, Revel Real Estate is on Elm and Wilshire. It's in prime Beverly Hills, where Rodeo and Wilshire Boulevard meet. We're on the ground floor. We have about 5,000 square feet. We have 65 agents, and we're currently meeting with high producing top agents to bring them in as actual partners into the real estate office, where we're offering them a direct relationship with me, where they can decide to work with me on a 50-50 basis, or just use our office and our tech platforms and all of our marketing channels to elevate their business so they can do what they do best.
And so you've always been kind of a video marketing whiz and social media. So how is that incorporated into your brokerage? How does that set your brokerage apart?
Yeah, I've always believed in being authentic and real on video, whether that's doing selfie videos and walking around properties and promoting the nuanced details about homes. And I started a company called Roof Shoot that morphed into Rilla, which is short form video. And then obviously everyone is now using social and video to really promote themselves. So I've been a big proponent of getting yourself out there and branding yourself and using responsive using responsive ads on Google and video ads on YouTube. It's been incredibly important for my business. People see my brand and they're like, "Oh, how do I know your name?" And it's because they've unconsciously seen something on my digital retargeting. So, it's very important to have a presence on have a website, but you also need to track those leads and see where they're actually going. So that's what I like to do for my agents, in making sure when they put a number or contact in their phone, that it goes directly into their follow-up boss, and they're able to then put them into different funnels of, like, I'm going to retarget. These are for my listings. These are for my this is information for buyers, newsletters, and how to do all that automatically. At the same time, just get down to brass tacks and talk about what you need to do to just meet people every single day.
So Ben, you were early to challenge the traditional brokerage model with Revel Real Estate. So where do you see brokerage models going in the next 5 years, and what gap were you trying to fill in the industry?
I think, like traditional commission models, they may break down, and instead there might be more a la carte services, like marketing and paying for negotiation, or like showing coordination, that will be priced out perhaps individually. Again, where a client may pay for things like an a la carte service instead of like a bundled percentage. So I see like tech platforms and other independent agents, and perhaps AI type of agents that are helping in real life actual people offer flat fees that are tiered pricing. based on like a certain service level. Like for example, like seller pays for $1,000 for photography. They pay for a certain
Mhm.
amount of money for staging, and then like a flat fee percentage for negotiation, rather than just giving up a traditional percentage to a listing agent on a
Well,
larger
and
scale.
talk about Revel's business model in when you started the firm.
Buyers are shifting towards looking at like Instagram feeds and YouTube channels and TikTok, more than, I could say, for more than actual referral agents.
Mhm.
So I think it's important that our agents have a presence, uh, a brand presence on their social media and their YouTube channels, so people, and they're actually paying for that, those advertisements, so they're
Mhm.
relevant in search and in Google. So, you know, it's important for my agents to provide transparency and data for like a convenience sake. So, you know, they're able to use ChatGTP
Mhm.
and Gemini to give relevant data at like, you know, basically exactly when people need it.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to make my agents feel relevant by, you know, creating a brand for themselves. I mean, emotions like still sell in this real estate business, but buyers, I think that they're expecting more data backed um, information. If that makes
Yeah.
sense, you know.
I definitely agree with that. And one of the things that you talked about was kind of learning AI programs and that. So tell me a little bit about how you're exploring that in your business and, where you think that's going.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'd say there's some disruption that's happening in the near future will where AI agents could work with traditional real estate agents,
Mhm.
um, not because or take over, not just because they're faster, but because they will simply be more smarter, they'll be
Mhm.
more adaptive, and maybe even more emotionally intelligent to some levels in their reasoning, right? So I think there'll be personalized selling at a scale. AI agents will have like unique personalities like you and me. Their styles will be tailored to match like a specific buyer's personal
Mhm.
buyer needs, whether it's someone that wants again hard data or an emotional reassurance if they're buying or selling or making the right decisions about selling their home, or simple like design inspiration, and AI will instantly adapt to that. I also think, unlike, you know, uh, real people, real agents, real time market intelligence um, is important, right? So there'll be no more waiting for an agent to get back to you. Someone will
Mhm.
immediately provide you with the answer that you want, instant access to like real time trends, um, inventory, comps, and neighborhood data, all brought to you like in seconds. So I think it's, and people say, well, you're never going to replace the agent because, you know,
Mhm.
they don't have the emotional nuanced capacity to do so. But I think AI will emulate and simulate empathy and negotiation strategies. They'll understand social cues, you know, offering
Mhm.
like a level of patience and kind of like emotional bandwidth to like interact with humans. So I think the outcome for it will be simply like efficiency, right? So these agents,
Mhm.
they won't waste any time. They'll learn from what each other buyer wants in seconds and refine their path and their pitch and so forth. If that's showings and messages and so forth. But it's not like they're going to replace the brokerage at all. I
Mhm.
mean, I believe that's the power center. That's where the deals get done. But the value of what every agent is offering, I think that's what's going to change, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the brokerage, they will own the artificial intelligence infrastructure, and all the traffic, all the data, that will be the ones that will become the deal maker, right?
Mm-hmm.
That will offer, you know, the deal flow to convert, like that data that you'll
Mm-hmm.
get, like all the deal flow, you'll be able to like figure out who you want to work with, and then the AI will make it more structured, right? So
Yeah.
if you want like X or Y, the platform doesn't just like help agents, but it replaces them with something like faster and smarter,
Mm-hmm.
and like it will like infinitely scale quicker. So and that and still the brokerage will, and with the brokerage becomes the platform and the product, and ultimately that's still the profit center.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to replace the agent because you're still going to need that human element, but I think it could make agents more efficient and help them do a lot more transactions with fewer possible like administrative people as well, where they can create efficiencies and keep more of their dollar, their GCI. So that's what it does seem like it could definitely do that.
Yeah, yeah, like
Yeah.
more like yeah, yeah.
And so you've built and led top producing teams in some very competitive markets. So, what leadership lessons have you learned through the process of attracting talent and maintaining a high performing culture?
It's really been about collaboration
Mm-hmm.
and being connected to the agents that are actually out there prospecting,
Mm-hmm.
and then being able to spend enough time with those high functioning, high performance agents and connecting the dots. So I'm very much a broker that is, I'm doing deals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to uncover opportunities all the time. So it's all about being accessible. And if our agents are asking questions about us, any multitude of reasons, I'm there to assist and pivot and give them advice and tools to to convince a seller to price a house in one direction or another,
Mm-hmm.
or to find a channel, a marketing channel that's going to um, get them, uh, put them in a position to get more opportunities, and then what it means to actually act on a potential buyer or seller lead, and how to create a rapport, just
Mm-hmm.
a simple human connection, and not go in for like a hard sell and just be like a human being. And you know, service is really important in the sense of like caring about what the person actually, what your client actually is looking for in their life, and because you know you're selling them this very
Mm-hmm.
important asset that they're going to be in for a long time, and that's like, you know, could be, you know, 40, 50, 60% of their net worth. So it's super important to um, under, to give them the tools to understand basic valuations, and then project a sense of confidence while you're doing it. So I think I've been my leadership role, um, you know, I've been selling, you know, I sold a house
Mm-hmm.
recently for, it was a great sale in Holmby Hills, and people are like, oh wow, they look up to me and they're like, how did you do that? How did
Mm-hmm.
you execute on this big sale? It was, you know, it's almost, you know, the personalities that we had to contend with, and all the elements, and keeping everything in line in your head. Um, and I explain to people that it's not just about like the deal and the negotiations. It's about just being having empathy, and
Yeah.
connecting with the people that you're working with.
So, what do you think the next generation of top producing agents looks like, and what kind of support structure do they need from brokerages?
I think they are leveraging other top producing agents within their agency, or they are self starters and they are out there pounding the pavement, so to speak, and trying to connect with as many potential buyers as possible. And I think that the support that they need is the CRMs that are going to be more visual CRMs that are going to be integrated into their contextual CRMs. Um, and I think a lot of digital retargeting, re-advertising, like Google responsive ads, YouTube video ads, that kind of that kind of they can really point and click and be like, I have, this is my listing, and I want to launch it to get like 100,000 views on my YouTube channel. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I that's what I offer right now.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to get hundreds of thousands of impressions to show the competition and to show the seller, or just to simply get more buyer leads into the sales funnel. So I always offer those services to my agents,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course that marketing company that says,
Mm-hmm.
hey, if you have a listing, we can put it into our system, and boom, you'll have your home will be exposed everywhere. Whether that's obviously just traditional
Mm-hmm.
print media, postcards that get automatically sent out. So the agent is actually just doing what they do best, which is creating that human connection that we've been talking about today. That's so important.
So you've explored real estate auctions in the luxury space. Where do you see auctions as a model fitting into mainstream residential real estate?
Yeah. So for auctions, there's definitely been a speed kind of reset,
Mm-hmm.
especially in like the ultra luxury market. We've seen a lot of auction companies getting to the market. Every time I have a listing, if it's languishes on the market, I get a sales phone call from an auction company. And we're noticing that luxury listings, they're lingering. They're like 180 days on the market traditionally, where a auction will sell for about will sell in about 42 to 60 days on the market. So those auction platforms, they do move properties a lot faster, um, and essentially it cuts that time to like 2 months. Um, and I think that it creates more transparent bidding, and it
Mm-hmm.
forces a realistic reserve. Trophy homes that usually start like 20 or 30% more than what is on the market. There's like a come to realization moment, and you're like, okay, I'm over, I'm asking too much money
Mm-hmm.
for the property. It sits in the market now. I'm really ready to sell. So finally, the market finally meets the buyer's expectation, and it without having like serial price reductions all the time. So I think it's important. I think that I guess there's a stat here that says the forecast is today's 1%
Mm-hmm.
penetration with auctions. So those institutional auction houses, they've handed out 9,000 U.S. resi deals in 2024, and then it's supposed to increase by 35%. So that's 5% of all the closings by
Mm-hmm.
2030. Will be auctions. That's basically
And
150 billion dollars. That's quite a bit.
so you've invested in an auction company or founded one. Talk to me a little bit about that.
My partner started it in my company called Rela, so he's the broker in it, and I invested in it. That's correct. I'm not actually the broker, but I
Uh-huh.
invest in that company.
Okay.
So yeah,
And does it focus on
that's what we
luxury
did.
properties right now?
It actually focuses on we listed a property for it was a $4.6 million property, and we just did it in Bel Air, and we actually in the auction we got 3.7 million, and it remarkably it was like $1,800 a square foot for the finished value of the property,
Mhm.
and then for the unfinished value, because half the house was like circa 1985, and the rest was like all
Mhm.
brand new. It's kind of an interesting home to sell in like prime Bel Air, and the unfinished version got $1,100 a square foot in the auction. They didn't end up taking the price,
Mhm.
taking the offer with, but it really proved that it actually like works. It was so interesting that it inherently came to its market value. So yeah, we do that. That was, I guess, in most of the world, 4.6 million is luxury, but
Mhm.
yeah, we do that, and now obviously the super luxury, but you
Okay.
often need a seller that has been on the market for a while and is trending downward, and is actually frustrated with just waiting for the phone to ring, and the auction buzzword gets people to the table. But there is a bit of a learning curve explaining to buyers the process, like what it means to be in an auction and the paperwork that they have to fill out. It's not difficult at all. It's quite easy.
Mhm.
And sellers can opt out to not continue the auction, go back to the traditional selling if they want, during the auction after a certain time period. But it's successful.
Great. So my last question is just what's next for you? More real estate, more tech innovation. What's next for you?
What's next for me? I want to do what's next for me. I want to bring on partners to my agency
Hmm.
that I believe will uh, increase the collaboration and deal flow um, in the agency.
Hmm.
So I'm looking for strategic partners on a revenue sharing model with my brokerage. That's something that I've recently decided to do. So I'm
Okay.
taking meetings
Hmm.
with some some very high producing agents over like the last 30 years,
Hmm.
and that's exciting. I'm also looking to build up my tech platform. It's a visual CRM for my agents inside of my own agency. Kind of it matches buyers to listings
Hmm.
using like all the micro style tagging that I'm doing, using artificial intelligence, using ML models and generative AI to connect um, the nuanced needs of what buyers are looking for and the properties that are
Hmm.
listed on the platform, and all that content goes on your own feed that you can share with whoever you want to share it with. So I want to provide that kind of cutting edge that kind of cutting edge technology that seems simple, but it's actually not really readily available today unless you're using like Instagram and TikTok. But it's unfortunately there's a lot of noise there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I'd like to also create drop-in studio style pods in my office, where people can come in and we can help edit content and shoot content for them and do the graphics, and use our AI tools to give them sound bites and short videos so they can put onto their YouTube channels and their social channels, and then that kind of solves the studio gap for agents, and then it also feeds um, our technology platform to for like premium short form
Hmm.
scaling content, and I would like to look at like other ways to bring in. revenue and generate leads through people outside of the real estate business um, that just love sharing content around real estate and seeing how that next gen AI instant media copying and pasting and how that all that predictive data is going to create opportunities for my agents.
So, Ben, thanks so much for joining Real Trending today. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys are great. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.